SNK has officially teased a next generation Neo Geo console, and this news has turned the world upside down, or has it? Or is the world even ready for this? This is something I have some concerns about, and I want to talk about today, kind of dive into a few things. But this topic is something we were talking about for a while now, when I had a little tidbit of inside information concerning a couple new Neo Geo consoles that were coming out that were not Neo Geo Minis. The one that was a home console, another one was going to be like a bar top type thing with quality buttons and sticks. Still yet to hear anything on that specifically. But then we did get that investor relations meeting that SNK had where some things were translated where it looked like they were talking about a Neo Geo 2 and 3. And it was like, boom, yes, I knew it, right? But then things went quiet. Nobody was really talking about it. Some people were like, you know what? The investor relations thing was just a mistranslation. This isn't really happening. But then they'd also talked about a new Metal Slug coming out for this hardware. And it was just like, man, this has to be true. You know, the information that I'd been getting concerning SNK products has happened. Everything's been proven true every time I'd received information. So I was like, man, something's got to be going on. And then they threw this out here. So let's look at this tweet, talk about it a little bit more, take a look at the history of these guys' consoles that they've done over the past 20 years or whatever, maybe less than that, actually, the last 10 years. Talk about the last 10 years. We all know the AES and the MVS, but let's talk about the stuff that they've done recently and why I'm concerned with what they're doing here today. So their tweet, and they tweeted this from every official SNK handle that they have, multiple languages, whatnot. A next-gen Neo Geo hardware is coming after the Neo Geo Mini. But if you really look at it, they've made 8 different Neo Geo Minis. There's 8 of them. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second here. But who knows? Is there going to be another 8? Is there going to be 16 total? And then they'll make this new hardware? I mean, the Neo Geo Mini has been very profitable for these guys. They've been making money despite its flaws. They've been making some money. So, hey, why not do something different? So going forward, with a modern design and a wonderful play feeling, that's all I need. As long as it's got wonderful play feeling, I'm down in it. Take my money now. I'm ready. I'm feeling it because it's got wonderful play feeling. That's all that matters. Fuck it, right? Hells yes. And this is the part that's got me concerned, though, damn it. You can even link it to the Neo Geo Mini. Why? Why? Okay, we'll talk on that in a second. The new hardware will provide you a Neo Geo journey that you have never experienced. You never experienced this before. Yeah, it's, I guess, typo. What is that? How you say that? Experienced before. So who knows what this journey is going to be? But I'm all for it. We're gonna ride this one out. But that linking it to the Neo Geo Mini, that's got me concerned, man. So the Neo Geo Mini came out in 2018. They've released like 8 of these damn things. It's not hardware that a lot of people really care for. There's a lot of collectors out there, people that are just like, you know what, for the price and the access I get to these 40 or more games, I'm down in it. You know what I mean? Because you can buy a lot of these games individually for like $8 on the Switch, that kind of thing. You can actually save money doing it that way if you already have a system and just get the games you want. Because are you really going to play every single game on this thing? But they released the international version, the Asian released version, and then a USA version that was the international version, but in the Asian version's body. So I know, man, it's crazy, right? So that was 3 of the original versions right there. And then they said, you know what? Christmas is coming, mofo. We's doing a Christmas edition. So you got the Christmas edition. I bought one. I was like, you know what? It looks kind of weird. It's goofy. It's a collectible. I'll buy it, whatever. And then they released that Chinese exclusive one that was a collaboration. I can't remember the guy's name, but it actually looked really cool, black and gold. That one came out. I'm not 100% sure how that went because from what I was hearing, it was delayed, but then some people got them. So there was that one, the 3, the Christmas, the 3 original, the Christmas, and the Chinese one. That's 5 of them. And then the 3 Samurai Showdown ones. That's 8 total of variations, essentially. They're all the same damn system. Different games between a few of them, but they're just variations. So 8 variations of this thing. They've been making some damn good money because people have been buying this up, even though it doesn't have clicky sticks. It looks like somebody smeared butter over the game when you play it on a modern display. It doesn't come with everything you need for it to be portable. They really should have made this a mini AES console. Forget the little screen. Nobody's playing it this way, even though, playing it in the portable mode, which isn't really portable because it doesn't have built-in batteries. You have to use, it doesn't come with anything. It comes with a cable that you could plug into something. But playing it that way with like a controller, the controllers that kind of suck, that takes some getting used to. Some people can get used to it. Some people are just like, this isn't right. Especially people who own the originals or have played the originals. But playing it that way in the portable mode, it doesn't look bad on the screen. I wouldn't say there's necessarily emulation issues. I think things sound and look good and play well, in my opinion. But once you jump to that modern display and you're using that analog stick, man, it's just not cool. It's just not cool. And then the buttons being changed, the layout changed. Yeah, kind of goofy, but it is what it is. So, that was the previous system that they put out. And I don't know that I really want to see this thing interface with the new hardware. Like, what is it going to do? Is it going to take that bilinear filtering off of this and let you play those games that way? Is this new Neo Geo hardware just going to be a bigger version of the Neo Geo Mini? Are they going to use proprietary SD cards that are rewired that have games on them that you could plug into this thing? And you could play old school games and maybe new games that they release? We don't have that information yet, but just that interfacing with the Neo Geo Mini's got me a little concerned. Like, why? What is the need? What is the purpose? For it to interface with it, it almost seems like it has to be similar hardware. So I don't know what direction they're going with that, but that does have me concerned. Because going back to 2012, the Neo Geo X Gold came out. And I was one of those suckers who bought one of these things, $200. I went through 3 of them. My first one stopped working. Second one, the handheld blew up. The battery vented, just couldn't play it anymore. And then the third one, I was like, I'm not risking this. I just exchanged this. Let me just sell this damn thing, get some money out of it. Got rid of it. It was a neat idea. Tons of history behind this. Lawsuits, SNK not being happy with the company who manufactured this for him, which was Tomo. Tomo's done a lot of cool things and a lot of boo-boo things, including the Neo Geo X Gold. But SNK wasn't happy. They fought them to stop producing it because of the quality issues. And that's one of the things a lot of people had issues with, even though it had clicky sticks. Look at this was a clicky stick and it felt neat. It worked, man. But there was some emulation issues, sound issues, quality issues, so on and so forth. People hacked this thing. But then people also found that essentially Tomo and whoever else worked on putting this thing together, all they did was steal Final Burn Alpha. And then they're also thinking that because they found partitions on the drive on this device that came from another device that came out 3 years prior, it was a Dingu emulation handheld that it had the same partitions from that. People just figured, it looks like they just stole everything because it had other emulators on there as well. So it was just a big, just nonsense crap fest at the time. And then, production stopped. Tomo fought them. I don't know how it was really resolved, but eventually it ended. You could buy these things for a reasonable price up until about 2016 was when Tomo said that their contract ended. And then after that, they're just hard to get and they're going for a crazy amount of money. That's not worth it because these things just fail on people, it seems. The little clamshell was, worth it for like a Raspberry Pi build. That was kind of neat. The controller, you could fix it up with a DB15 connector and use it on original hardware if you wanted. There is different uses for this thing. Like I said, you could hack it and all that stuff. But this was just, it was kind of a piss poor effort. Even displaying on an HD TV didn't look that great, just like the Neo Geo Mini. And yes, at this time in 2012, it was a different company than it is now. And we touched on this before. In March 2015, Leiyu Technologies Holdings, they purchased a huge portion of the stake in SNK Playmore. They were SNK Playmore at the time. They took that name, Playmore, because of bankruptcy. SNK was going through bankruptcy prior to that. Just there's tons of stuff going on with that. Definitely worth looking into and reading about. But to save their asses and some of their franchises and some other nonsense that was going on, they formed SNK Playmore, or Playmore anyway. And then they combined SNK Playmore, whatever, right? So they got this huge stake in the company and just started doing their own thing. They wanted to Marvel Disney it up, take those franchises, those intellectual properties, and just do a bunch of stuff with it. Because at this time, SNK wasn't doing jack shit with their IPs. They were doing patchy slot games and mobile games, and that was it. Once Leiyu Tech took over, we started seeing some new stuff. You got a new King of Fighters game. Finally, we got a brand new Samurai Showdown game. There's some other mobile stuff that's been going on out there. A lot of brand recognition with these intellectual properties. If you follow any of the SNK, companies on Twitter, they're always tweeting about games and stuff that they're doing. Mostly, be honest, mostly mobile stuff, but it's a lot more than what was going on at this time. But it's still this Neo Geo X Gold. It still left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. The Neo Geo Mini, similar, maybe not quite. It's a whole different thing done by a different version of SNK, but with some of the same problems. What is this new machine going to be? Is it going to be dead on arrival? Is there really space for something like this? Neo Geo is just going to be niche as it is. It was when it first was released for like $600 for an AES, a couple $100 for a game. Not many people had these things. It was a very luxurious video game system. And, now, even if they keep the price reasonable, how many people are going to jump on this? They got to do something really special and unique. And if it's just going to be a combination of the Neo Geo X Gold and a Neo Geo Mini, which I know is not exactly what's going to happen here, but just looking at the information, hearing what I've heard, it almost seems like that's the direction they're going. Like, why else would the Neo Geo Mini interface with this thing if it's just not another Neo Geo Mini, just reshelled, maybe with some different things going on? Maybe you can add games to it, which would make sense because we did hear about that Metal Slug happening. So who knows for sure? I don't necessarily think there's much room for a big competitor, but a niche product like the Neo Geo definitely will do fairly well, I think, if it's done decently. If we get decent controllers, the output's good on a modern display. But if it's just the same Neo Geo stuff over and over again that we've constantly had access to, it's not that big a deal. Is it going to be like the C64 Mini, where now the big version comes out with a working keyboard? Is this just going to be a big version of the Neo Geo Mini with clicky sticks this time and a few added features? I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm almost thinking this is going to be. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully I get some new information on this soon, but I do have those concerns. Are people just going to pass this up if there's nothing new going on? If we're not getting new franchises? But then that's the other thing, like the Intellivision Amico, people are upset. Like the new Earthworm Jim is only going to be on that device. It's not going to be on something that you're familiar with. If Neo Geo, if SNK does the same thing, new Metal Slug, and it's only going to be on this. New King of Fighters, it's only going to be on this. Some people will be put off by that and kind of annoyed. Now, if they're just like different versions of pre-existing games, then okay, whatever, But let me know what your feelings are down below. What do you think on this thing? Are you just done with SNK at this time after 8 Neo Geo Minis? Who really cares anymore, right? Who knows? We just got to wait and see, but I do have those concerns. And the biggest concern lies in that little line right there. Like, why? Why does it need to do this? Who knows? But hey, I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Don't forget, we have a giveaway going on. It's worth a few $100. Nintendo 64. You get an M cable gaming edition, HDMI cable. Those things go for like $100 and something bucks. A Super 64 from Eon, that's $150. And then a Brawler 64. Those are like brand new Nintendo 64, next gen style Nintendo 64 controller. I think those are like $30-$40, somewhere around there. So nice little value giveaway. If you're into the Nintendo 64, get that ultimate bundle going. Check in my description. I have a link to a Gleam.io giveaway. It's going to end in a little less than 2 weeks now. So, hey, really do appreciate you guys. With that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye and boom. Bye. Dropping stuff.